time.
It's going? Alright, sit down, Trey. We're recording?
Yeah.
I think.
Check again.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, see. How much memory does your computer have on it?
A lot. I don't know exactly.
A lot of memory. Alright, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Chase,
I am ready.
Trey, ready?
I'm ready.
Microphone, ready?
Ready.
I don't have anything in this cup.
Cheers. Alright. Oh, we'll wait for Chase to get done. Sipping nothing. Oh, I'll sip now too. Alright, and welcome to the Rugged Hour podcast. I'm Garett Betzing, here with my co-host Trayton Holloway, and my co-host / style advisor, Chase Hampton. This is another episode back at the Hampton House. Not like the Hamptons, but the Hamptons.
The Hampton House.
Alright, let's get going. Episode 1. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of relaxation. You know, whether it's spending time at your cabin, you know, playing video games, whatever it is you do to cool down, because school, work, everything can get pretty stressful. I know senior year it's been a lot getting laid on, you know, with colleges and dorm selection and a lot of stuff. Really for the next 4 years of our life, what we're going to be doing. So yeah, we just figured we'd spend some time talk about relaxation, and just chill and hang out. Just doing this podcast in itself will be relaxing, I hope. So it'll be good. Trayton, you have a cabin, right?
I do have a cabin out
on a
in,
yonder lake.
out in Yonder Lake. Yeah.
Yonder.
It's a family cabin. Been in the family for probably like 40 years, and we go there a lot. I think it was built when my mom, or not built, but we started owning it when my mom was like 9. So it's been around for quite a long time, and we go there every summer. I used to go there during the winter, but not as much anymore. So it's a good place to go and hang out during the summer.
Do some fishing.
Do some fishing.
Yeah, I find fishing relaxing.
I find fishing boring as hell.
Yeah, well, Chase, you're white and you blow dry your hair every morning for style.
I don't blow.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Chase, I thought you liked fishing.
I thought you liked
You
fishing.
go fishing all the time with me at the cabin.
I do, because it's with you and I can talk to you while it's going on.
Chase, there's been multiple times when you started fishing without me. So explain that.
You fished without Trayton?
Oh no. Oh Christ. I've been put on the spot. Alright, so basically, here's how it goes down. I only go fishing alone when it's at Trey's cabin, because I know 15 minutes from when I start fishing, Trey's going to be down there.
So,
That's
I
relaxing.
think some boring things can be pretty relaxing. No?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think even if they're like monotonous, I think if they're boring, I mean, your brain's probably not working too hard, and that's pretty relaxing.
Well, that's what I really like about fishing. You know, it's that time, like, it's the same task, you know, there's skill that goes into it, and there's thinking, you know, depending on how skilled or how intensive a fisher you are. I mean, Parker knows all the bass spots. He has specific lures for specific situations that he uses. And that can be relaxing too, but even just the task of chilling, you know, taking in the beauty and the sights and the sounds. That's why, like, when I go fishing, I prefer to not have music, you know, or my phone or anything. I just like being out on the water and getting to listen to everything. My family has a cabin also, here in the Seattle area that's been in our family since, well, the property has since 1900, maybe 1902. Our cabin itself wasn't built until the 60s, so it's one of the newer cabins on the property, because several of them were built back in the early 1900s. So I do the same thing. I go out there every fall for the salmon season, and then spring and winter to do some fly fishing for some sea run trout. It's a local federally protected species around here, so it's catch and release only, but it's a super cool fish and something I'm really passionate about as far as the conservation and really working to grow the species numbers again, which is part of why I really like educating people on it, because a lot of people don't know about the amount of danger that, you know, these fish can go through. So proper care when it comes to catch and release and maintaining a healthy habitat. I find that's important stuff to me.
Yeah, personally, on the subject of relaxation, stress relief, and everything, I'm not really, I'm a very outdoorsy person. I know
You aren't an outdoorsy?
I'm not.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I think because I know these two can go on. I know you especially are a really outdoorsy person. Trey fishes and hikes and all sorts of good stuff. They went on a hiking trip to the Enchantments together, but me, I'm more of a I don't know. I can't actually say that I have any relaxation techniques. I have stress relief.
That's
techniques.
what I think. Relaxation shouldn't be as much as a task as it should be something that kind of just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, yeah, in terms of stress relief, working out is the best for me, I think. Because you're essentially just beating something up for for an hour and a half. You're lifting something up, putting something down, and that releases, I don't know. I
think relaxation can also come from things that you don't really want to do. Like sometimes when I work out, I don't really want to be working out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's something that, it's just calms
Well,
you.
I mean, that's a lot of mental stuff too. One of the people I really look up to, Cameron Haynes. One of his mottos, his too, is keep hammering. So just keep grinding, keep going, and it's all mental. And so one of his, he works out every day. He's, super, super ripped. And he's like, a lot of days, like, I don't want to go to the gym. I know, like, there's things maybe I'd rather be doing. I know it's going to suck. But just going there and showing up and starting to get that routine. And by the end, you'll be going for it and you probably will be enjoying it. That's a big deal. And I think that's important, too, because sometimes, your body, you may not want to relax. You can think of this, as it applies to relaxation, too. You might not want to slow down. You have stuff you need to keep working. And you have to tell yourself, like, hey, we need to take a break. We need to slow down and really recover from this. And I agree. Trey was saying relaxation shouldn't be a technique. It shouldn't be a task. And I agree. It's not something you need to, like, slave over and really be like, well, I guess I have to relax. Understand that it's good for you and it's healthy. And find certain activities, I say, that help you relax. So it shouldn't be a task. It shouldn't be like, I have to do this. It's like, hey, I know this is going to be good, and I know I get to do this. That's my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm. Trey, what do you do to relax?
I think I do a lot. I mean, I play a lot of video games. That's pretty relaxing, especially when I'm playing with friends, because like I'm just able to talk with them.
Aiden Page doesn't think video games are relaxing.
Yeah, Aiden Page, he does not find relaxation in video games. He just beats up his computer every time he plays.
Frustration is a better word for it.
He was over last night, and they were all gaming on their laptops, playing Rainbow Six, and Aiden starts freaking out, like just going berserk over the fact he got killed. I think he left because of it.
Granted, I did kill him, and he was on my team, so I did shoot him in the head, and then he left. But
yeah,
to be fair, he was playing on his phone and blocking a door I needed to get through, so I killed him. But I do a lot of reading. That's really relaxing for me, because it's like, it really is just like a whole new world. Like when you read, because you're like putting in the shoes of someone else or a different scenario, and you really are able to escape into like a different time or place, and that's really unique.
I agree a lot with that. I mean, that's all through my childhood. I've read a ton. And that really helps, I feel like, with imagination. But it's also, I mean, it's good for learning. Like, when I relax, when I'm at work, I listen to podcasts because I work at a golf course, so it's not like I need to be talking to people. I just drive in circles and pick up golf balls. And I find that relaxing, but I also enjoy the educational aspect of that, which I kind of hope is where our podcast will go. And, what some of you listeners will get out of it is not only relaxation and enjoyment, but education too, and just to be thought provoking. In as many ways as you can. So, Chase, you were talking about working out. What type of workouts do you like? What do you feel like helps release stress? Just all working out? Do you swim? Do you lift? What do you do?
I'll do lifting and running, or
Okay.
running. I'll alternate the the cardio, but running seems to be the best because it wears me out the fastest. But yeah, you just work out 5 or 6 days a week, after school every single day, and because you have all this pent up stress from school and everything, from
Well, speak for
testing and
yourself.
homework.
I don't do
Everything.
homework.
And then you go to the gym, and it's just the one place where you really have no other worry except picking up this many pounds or doing this many reps or completing that last set. So it's the one place I go where I don't have to think about really much of anything. So it's really nice to have that.
Where do you work out? Do you go to the Y?
Yeah, I go to the Y.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only place where I can run on a treadmill and watch West Wing on Netflix at the same time, because they have West Wing on their treadmills, or Netflix on their treadmills, I should say.
That's
Yeah.
pretty legit.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to the Y once to work out. Actually, I didn't even go to work out. I went to play basketball, and I was like, well, since I'm here, I'm gonna go get a pump in. And I found that to be more stressful. Like all the people, all the machines, trying to make sure
Oh
that
yeah.
the machines I want like aren't getting used or I'm not sliding in, and having to freaking clean people's racks because they didn't take their weights off and stuff like that. I was just like, screw this. I'm going back to basketball. Like it stressed me out more. I'd much rather, especially when I'm working out, have more of a one-on-one, just mellow workout. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Some people like all the people, they like the intensity, and the feeling of being at a gym with people, that kind of like gym bro feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there, but I also don't work out much, so maybe it's a motivation problem.
Yeah. And before the Y, actually, and before football season started and everything, that was this last fall. I did CrossFit for the summer, and I know Trey does it now. And I think he can attest that that's a pretty rough workout.
CrossFit is it's definitely intense, but it's a weird concept because before I was doing CrossFit, I would be going to the Y, and the Y I would probably spend about an hour and a half lifting. Like I would go from machine to machine, lifting, stretching, doing yoga, stuff like that. But CrossFit in itself, you can burn like 400, 500 calories in like a 15-minute workout only because it's such a rapid paced. But I can't really tell which one's better for you because CrossFit's not as much about building muscle as it is like getting toned and in shape and fit.
Getting it quickly. Yeah.
So I put on a lot of bulk when I was lifting at the Y, but I'm actually losing weight now that I'm doing CrossFit. So, I mean, it's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I find it really relaxing and it's good. Like yesterday when I was lifting, we were probably like, it was like a 30-minute workout and I was like 20 minutes in, and you just get to this point in the workout where you're just like in a different like trance almost. Like you're not even...
Yeah.
You're just like working out, and like you're not thinking about anything else besides I'm working out, and that's really good. That really helps with a lot of things, whether it be school, relationships, work, whatever it is. I mean, it totally takes you away from all that. So that's really fulfilling.
I mean, yeah, and that's what I enjoyed about it, because you go to the Y or you go to any basic gym and you're working out, and there's a lot of distraction because you're taking
like West Wing.
Yeah, like West Wing, and typically you're taking a little bit longer breaks. You're trying to put up a little bit more weight. Your workout typically takes longer. With CrossFit, the thing I enjoyed about it, I know that we're on the subject of CrossFit now, so I apologize for that. But
yeah,
with
Please,
CrossFit,
no hate. We're just trying to be open.
but with CrossFit, you were in and out in like half an hour, and it's built around basically the philosophy of the superset and then form. So. They don't want you. Basically, the superset is they want you to do as much as you possibly can with the shortest possible breaks that you can possibly fit in, and then putting up the most weight you can in the highest amount of reps that you can. It gets insane there. And then form is actually as much as CrossFit. People think about it and they see the athletes there, that they're just huge and they're trying to put up all this weight and they're trying to be super athletes. It's really not about that. It's about form, which I was surprised by.
Because form is so critical in CrossFit because you're moving so fast and so rapidly that if you were to
you
not...
could kill yourself.
Yeah, you could literally injure yourself
Very badly.
I think I spent the first 2 weeks, instead of using a bar, you use PVC pipes. And you practice the snatch and the deadlift and everything in the absolute correct form. So that way when you get a bar, you're not going to kill yourself with 45 pounds and heavier weights. So that's what I really appreciated about it, and it's the best workout that I ever got.
Why'd you stop? Because I'm curious.
Football season started.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then you just
I
got
couldn't
into
balance
he had
it.
a
And
membership through football.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was basically free because CrossFit is actually it's a little bit more expensive too. Because a typical gym membership, I think for us for the Y, it's like $120 for the whole family per month, and that's on the expensive side as well. With CrossFit,
it's like $100 a month per person.
it's like $100 a month per person because you're basically paying for everything. You're paying for the trainer. You're paying for the upkeep of the facility because the trainer privately owns that.
Mm-hmm.
I think CrossFit's like it can be way more beneficial than the gym depending on how like what you make of it because CrossFit has classes running throughout the entire day.
Mm-hmm.
They have workouts on Sundays. I think the Y is like, are they closed on Sundays? Or?
No, I think
I know
they're open.
they close earlier, close later.
Yeah.
Limited hours, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But CrossFit they have like workouts at like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, and then at nighttime, and it's open all day. You can just go in there. There's personal trainers there all the time. You don't have to hire one. I mean, you get one with your membership.
Mm-hmm.
And there's yoga on Sundays. I feel like, and it's just a tighter community. Like you know everyone there. They're there every time you're there. So that's nice because you come in, people are saying hi and stuff like that.
Yeah. So in terms of stress relief, CrossFit is probably the best avenue you can take, especially if you want to get fit.
So, a lot of people do running for stress relief.
Yeah.
Like relaxing.
I'm just not much of a runner.
And I mean,
so.
not only stress relief, but exercise is really, really good at alleviating depression too.
Mm-hmm.
And these intense workouts, like, it works. There's a reason that people have been saying this stuff for so long. But it's a real thing, like sunshine. We don't get enough of that here in Washington.
That's true.
Like I get depression in the winter months. Is it because of a lack of vitamin D? I don't know.
Probably.
Like, summer's more fun anyways. Maybe that's why I enjoy it more. Maybe it's the school that does it to me. But I'm always just in a slightly worse mood and a little more depressed during the winter. So exercising definitely helps that. Actually, taking cold showers helps that too, but we can get onto that in a little bit later. How do you guys feel about Crunch Fitness?
Crunch Fitness? That's the smaller gym, isn't it?
That's a gym. I think
it's very minimal and like inexpensive.
It is.
It's like $20 I think for a membership for a month.
And yeah, because when I did, because Kids Have Physical Therapy is like right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
It actually uses the Crunch Fitness gym for a lot of the workouts that you do, and I did it for my knees. And when I was in there, Trey's right. It's a really minimalist gym. I mean, I'm not gonna say that CrossFit's not minimalist because
it's very minimalist, but they use everything in that gym to their best, like to the best extent that they possibly can.
Well, which one were you at? I feel like the new one. Have you been in the new one next to Sportsman's Warehouse?
Yes, I think. Well,
I know what it looks like.
Next to like Ashley Furniture?
The one that I went to, so the street where you go past and like Lowe's is on your left.
Yeah.
It's
I
right
know
in
what
that
you're talking
area.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It
I
was
feel like
real small.
with Crunch, it's cheap. The new one's really decently sized, and I feel like that's probably what more Crunches are like throughout the nation.
Yeah, I haven't been to that one.
I haven't been in it. I've seen pictures, but it's there for one purpose. It's workout. You don't have a trainer. It's stark walls and a lot of just machines and weights.
That's exactly what CrossFit's literally in warehouses. Like,
CrossFit. I mean, I think the one I went to was in a storage unit.
Yeah, I know that. Is that Silverdale CrossFit?
Yeah, and they're actually closing, by the way.
They are?
Yeah,
I think our CrossFit studio is kicking them out. They're doing way better.
Well, the leaders are, at least the owners of the thing are moving to New York, so they're gonna try and open up.
I think ours moved up from Florida and brought they're really good at what they do, and they kind of just attracted everyone in CrossFit studios.
Where do you do CrossFit, Trey?
Right on Newberry. It's called
Newberry?
CrossFit 7 Cities.
Oh yeah, I know that one. In the new gymnastics place.
It was and moved across the street to where the Northwest Wrangler is. Or Northridge.
Northridge 4x4.
But with my opinion on Crunch, a little biased, but I know some people go there that go to our school personally, and I don't think like they get the best workout they possibly can. It's more of like
it's a social avenue.
Let's not say a name here.
Yeah, let's not say names, but it's more of like a hey, yeah, I work out type of deal. Like this is what I do.
I go to the gym.
We can just edit it out. Is it Logan Prater?
It's actually the girls, Shay.
Oh, they
softball players. Amber.
They have Crunch memberships.
They go there before school, and they just like run and like take Snapchats, and it's like you're not even like.
This shows how much I pay attention to their Snapchat stories.
It's true.
But okay, well, how do we get back into this?
Well, just keep talking. I'm just bleeping out the word.
So, yeah, these people, I feel like they go there just for more social purposes than they really do for the workout. And, I mean, you can't really blame them because, again, I mean, at least they're doing something.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I feel-
that's what I like, or that's what I'm like when I work out.
I mean, at least, like, you're around the weights. It's the same principle when I see people, or when I used to see people at the Y who, like, sit on their phone and kind of talk and, like, listen to music. Like, it's okay because you're doing something, but also just don't be in the way of others who are actually trying to get in and out and work out. Because, like, with CrossFit, you don't see a single person who's on their phone and, like, talking.
And if you do, everybody starts batching them out.
And if you do, you can also be like, well, you're paying $100.
That's
Like,
true.
what is it?
Yeah.
So, that's my opinion on Crunch. I feel like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's cheap and it's better if you're
Because
just
it's cheap,
yeah.
it's easier to it's easier to use it as a social avenue than anything
Yeah,
else.
I think they
That's
also have like what are like hydro massagers or something. They have something.
Oh,
I
what?
think that
Wait.
takes an extra. It's like $5 a month for the limited, like, just weights. But then after that, you can move up to like $20 a month or 30 or 50 or something like that. And
There's
it's
deals if you
hydro
bring
massagers,
guests in
tanners.
as well. Like
Is
if you
it?
were to get someone to buy a membership and like use your name or something.
That's
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 really
good
nice.
marketing.
Have you guys seen the? It's like the cryotherapy thing. It's like the big tanks that the guys get in, and it like it's like a super cooled tank or whatever that they stand in, and it's like really gets cold, and then it like I don't know, it does
Is it
something
water?
to 'em.
Are
It's a
they
lot of athletes use it.
floating?
Dude, no, that's what I'm
No,
telling you.
they're,
Some
Contrast.
Stranger Things. Stuff.
You know, either like, yeah, not
Oh,
definitely
episode
Stranger
dead.
Things. Is that 11 in there actually?
Yes.
What are those called? You know, they put a bunch of salt in them.
Oh
they
no.
float.
Oh, I've seen those.
Oh, the ones where you like that you close the top off and then they
Then
start
they just
to
float.
experience
You're
like
supposed to go
surreal
to
images.
swing.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're not touching anything. You're just, like,
Yeah.
Oh.
That's like there's like 1,000 pounds of salt per like
Yeah, so
not
that
a
it
lot
can
of
keep you
water.
floating.
It's insane. Basically the Dead Sea in a like kidney bean shaped pod. It says it's supposed to feel like you're in the womb or something like that, but I can't imagine how that would be relaxing
Yeah.
since I'm claustrophobic.
True. Like people actually report like visions of like demons and stuff. And
Really?
yeah, like
That's
they
hella
get like
sketch.
super surreal images in there. And
That's super scary.
so I don't know. I don't know about that.
I'd maybe do it as like a relaxation or like a recovery technique, but
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about the cold water. I've been researching a lot about that. That's legit. Cold water does a lot of good stuff to you. I've read about it decreasing recovery time, decreasing depression, actually in guys increasing testosterone. And that's something like, so I've started taking cold showers just because they're supposedly really good for health. So maybe weekends or every once in a while I'll take just a 6 to 10 minute shower that's straight cold water. But normally what I do is after practice I take contrast showers. And so what I'll do is you generally want 2 to 3 minutes of a nice hot, just great shower, and that gets your blood flowing fast. You know, gets everything moving into you, and then you turn it cold for. You usually want about 3/4 or a third of the time that you had it hot, and that cold water, you know, that sucks all the blood, everything from your extremities, and focuses it on your organs. Because that's how your body responds to cold. It, you know, takes blood, takes warmth out of your non-essential areas and focuses them on keeping your organs safe. But what that does is that really gets the blood moving really well through your muscles, where normally you'd be experiencing some lactic acid buildup
Yeah.
after your workouts and stuff, and that gets that moving, gets that breaking down so that the next morning you're way less sore, if sore at all, and just feeling a whole lot better. So that's something I've started doing, and that's why with the straight cold showers, not only are they good for testosterone and depression and stuff like that, but they're also really good for organ health because it's that concentrated blood supply in there. Not super common. I found a few links on it, and I haven't found anything that tears it down. You know, it all seems legit so far. So I find it interesting.
Yeah, yet another relaxation technique.
I was gonna say maybe not relaxing when you do it, but afterwards you'll feel
Helps
good.
after.
I don't know. I've started to legitimately enjoy the cold part of the showers.
Really?
Like it, I'll get in and it feels nice. Like I'm okay with it.
Typically, when I wake up in the morning, I'm really tired, and like showers are also really relaxing. But like I'm trying to get out of the house, so I feel like cold showers can really aid in, you don't really want to be in there because it's cold. You're trying to get out. So that's what I take cold showers for that reason. Just like slow down how long I'm in the shower so I can get out, have some breakfast, and leave for school or whatever. So that's why I take cold showers. But.
Yeah, and I find here, sort of on the topic of relaxation, but not in the working out muscle type category, I also find that like mind puzzles and games and things like that really help me relax too. So one of the things that my friends somewhat know me for is Rubik's cubes. So I use various types of Rubik's cubes to help just relax, and then it's more of a competitive thing with me as well. I just started getting into like chess seriously, and that's a huge relaxer, I think, because again, it's the only basically I think the idea behind my kind of relaxation is that you don't have to think about anything else other than what's going on at that moment right there, and that there's not a lot of weight on what you're doing. So if you're obviously taking a test, that's the only thing you're thinking about, but it has a lot of
weight,
and gravity,
a lot of consequence.
But chess, there are Rubik's cubes. You mess up, you're just gonna start over again, and it's fine.
Yeah, I feel like that's the pull then for a lot of people with like video games. You just kind of zap into it, and you're able to just focus on that. Sometimes that's a really good thing. Sometimes it's 8 hours later and it's 4 in the morning and you realize you have school. I don't really game, so that's never happened to me, but I'm sure some people. Also, speaking of Rubik's cubes, I figured out how to solve it up to like layer 3, so I'm able to get like the top and then the top 2 for all around. But then I don't know the algorithms for the bottom, so I need to do some memorizing to figure that out.
Yeah, it's not too bad once you get to know all of it and everything. But yeah, I think going back to the video games point, I think it's interesting because almost all video games are set up on a task by task basis. So like even like Trey and I like 15 minutes ago were playing Overwatch, and
I don't understand that game. So.
As much as it's a first person shooter that's multiplayer online and
heavily animated, not like
super animated. It's not like a Call of Duty
modern,
style. But even though there's a lot on the surface, even though there's a lot going on, the relaxing part, I suppose, about it is the fact that there's always one single objective to complete. So a lot of times it's to capture a point or
move the payload.
Yeah, move the payload, or there's not a ton of stuff going on, and once again, it doesn't have a lot of gravity if you lose the game or get killed or something like that. So
I think also video games, I feel like they have a really bad stigma. If you guys would agree,
they do. I would agree.
I would feel like a lot of people who like think people like they look at people who play video games like, oh wow, you're wasting your time, or like stuff like that. Like, oh, it's just, how's this helping you? Like, how are you being productive? But I mean, it's just like anything else. I mean, it's like if it's what someone enjoys, I mean, let them do it as long as because it's not unhealthy for them. It's not like it's a bad habit.
Well, it can.
It can be.
It can be.
It can be. But
say,
I think how we play, like me, you, and I think we're pretty casual about it. I mean, there are people that they make careers out of it, and I'm not have anything against that. I think that's actually pretty impressive.
Like YouTube channels and stuff.
Yeah, that's still pretty casual. I was talking about careers like
I'm
like
just
video
joking.
game designer.
Trey has a gaming channel, so.
But some people they'll do like careers and like they'll go to like there's actually an Overwatch Olympics, and right now there's a thing called Overwatch League. Overwatch League and Olympics are different actually.
Oh, they really?
Olympics and League are different. So League is they'll get people from all around the world, and they'll get teams. And this year they did it differently because they incorporated a lot more cities. Like there's teams out of New York. I don't think there was a team out of Seattle, but I don't know why. I think just there was no one competitive out of Seattle. We had teams out of like California, New York, Texas. Pretty sure there's one out of Beijing, and like that. And they all just it's like literally a tournament. Like it's like sports, and they'll like compete. And then the very end, it's all broadcasted. I mean, there's numbers online. I don't know them exactly, but there's like millions of people watching, and I think it's second biggest watch video game like platform competitively.
I think what tournament? I think if you read the Wall Street Journal, they actually do a few pieces on esports and how it's becoming this massive. I think it's $1 billion industry now.
Okay, yeah, the esports, the Overwatch payout if you were to win Overwatch is more than the Wimbledon tennis.
Yeah, and then
Holy
same thing
crap.
with same thing with.
I think it's 47 million like split amongst the team.
Yeah. And then
Holy
there's
crap.
a like Hearthstone. Is it
I think
the
that
card
one of the
game?
biggest ones is War. Is it Warhammer?
Is it Warhammer? I don't know.
I
I know
think
Call of Duty.
Warhammer's
Call
a
of Duty has a huge one.
miniature game.
I know Heroes of the Storm.
League
has
of
Heroes
Legends.
the Storm.
League of Legends is always dominated.
League of Legends is huge. I
Mhm.
know there's
But,
a kid that just and he plays a game called
Minecraft.
Hearthstone.
Just kidding.
Hearthstone. It's like an online card game. Is it?
Hearthstone is not like.
Yeah, and he just won $250,000 at the worldwide tournament or whatever, and it had more viewers in it than the average like Lakers game.
Whoa.
They hold Heroes of the Dorm, which is a tournament for
College.
Heroes of the Dorm, and the winning basically when you win what is it, college
Scholarships.
tuition?
Yeah.
Yeah, scholarships and everything. They sold out the Staples Center 3 days in a row, which the Lakers can't do.
I think
How what do you
Like-
do when you just sit in the Staples Center?
They have massive
Like-
screens up, and everybody knows what the plays are, and it's insane.
Oh,
if you
for
watch
the
one of
card
the
game?
tournaments, they're all screaming and everything. And I can't get excited over League of Legends. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't get excited over games like that, but there are people that can.
yeah. I mean, each
And-
person likes a different game. Like you don't like Rainbow Six. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, people have different games that they enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, on a different note, but something I think that needs to be talked about is, I would honestly compare like professional gamers to like professional athletes, and I know
Oh,
that's
then,
not
yeah.
the common thing, but
Yeah.
because it's hard to look at someone who plays video games and look at them,
Mm-hmm.
and usually they're not the most like attractive
Athletic, yeah.
or like
No,
ripped
yeah.
people. But I mean, they've perfected something that other people haven't, and that's something that
And they're
they've
the
dedicated.
best in their field.
Yeah, they're like that's impressive to me. Like, cause like they'll win a game and they'll all come out, they'll all be bowing and stuff, and like, I mean, you just look at these guys and like they're not like typical like, oh my god, like wow, that's Tiger Woods or wow, that's Tom Brady.
Well, do
Yeah,
you
but
know
I
the
think-
book?
yeah,
The
you
book
go.
Outliers. I believe says that the amount of time it takes to become professional or proficient at something to the point of mastery, is 10,000 hours, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the same for sports. You know, for golf, for basketball, for football, whatever. You know, but it's also the same for anything else in everyday life. You know, whether that's video games or you know any task that you could be doing. 10,000 hours is the amount of time it takes to master a skill. So you look at a lot of the professional athletes, professional sports players. You know, they've spent 10,000 hours either playing their sport or preparing for their sport through exercise, through stuff like that. And that's the same thing these gamers are doing. You know, they have the same devotion, the same amount of time. It's just less physically intense, which I feel like you know that can be looked down upon. I don't know. One thing that just came to me as you guys were talking about this, because we were talking originally, I was talking about how video games are relaxing, and now we're talking about it as a profession. What do you think these guys do to relax? They
Probably play
video
games.
games.
I mean, when I like stream on YouTube and like that can be stressful because you have people watching, and you know if you say something that could be offensive, and like
Yeah.
you got to worry about that stuff. But I think
Jokes
there-
about you know who.
I don't know who, but
You do.
okay. Yeah. So I mean,
That-
you
bad
can
jokes.
make jokes like that, and like obviously it can be offensive to people, but I've done really well at not making those online. I mean,
Yeah.
I try not to.
Not Jake Pauling it or Logan
Yeah.
Pauling it for that matter.
Yeah, that's bad. But I mean, video games are definitely like a two-street avenue or whatever. I don't know how to
Two-way street.
two-way street, and like I'm sure those guys like at the end of the day, I mean they'll just play with each other for fun. Like there's ranked modes, like Rainbow Six has ranked,
Yeah.
Overwatch has ranked. All these games have ranked, but there's also a casual, and casual is meant for just like you
And-
just at the end of the day you want to play a few games and have fun. I mean,
Oh yeah, and I'm sure that they play on like ranked matches and competitive matches all the time. But if I were them and I was in their position and was that
could
good,
probably be
I'd go
having
into
fun
I'd just
ranked.
go into a regular match with a bunch of regular old folk and just wreak havoc on all of them. That's what I'd do for relaxation and be like, I'm the best, and I'm gonna make sure people know.
That sounds relaxing because it's not stressful. You're just
You're just-
way better, so you just wreck them.
I think also like video games. Like I was watching Overwatch League actually. There's a few videos on my YouTube channel on it, but there's this guy that he played for Team Germany, and he died like of like a disease like in the last year, and he was like one of the best like players out of Team Germany.
Damn.
And like the community came together at the end of like one of the Overwatch League days, like tournaments, and they all actually had like a moment of like silence and like played like a 5-minute clip of like all of his memories and all that, and I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Because like they showed like videos of him because he played competitively, and then he like
Mine Overwatch.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that?
Mind Overwatch.
Mine.
Oh yeah. And he played competitively,
But if
and
we
then
said that's inappropriate, we'll bleep it out.
and then he finally retired. Like that's like a sports team. Like he retired, and he actually like started teaching people, like going around like teaching kids and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool.
Honestly, I think that it's funny for you to say Team Germany.
It's because it's
video
Olympics,
games.
dude.
It is in a video game setting.
I find that
though.
odd.
Yeah, but I think ESPN. Was it ESPN that just created an esports division because everybody's.
I feel like they may have.
I was listening to the radio, and they were
a
saying in the next 2 years they believe that
this is going to be
esports will be streamed on TV like next to all of the tournaments. Like
eventually,
Super
there are
Bowl
some
and
people
stuff.
predicting that this may become an Olympic sport as well. Like, I don't
I'm
know,
not okay with
but but there's the guy. It's a funny story about one of the ESPN commentators. He might have been a radio show host or something, but he famously said that if ESPN ever does anything related to esports, that he's resigning. And like a year and a half later, ESPN created like a whole esports division, and then he resigned. He was forced to.
Really?
Yeah, but it was. Yeah, it's interesting because I think 10 years from now we're gonna, like you said, nobody really knows the names of the guys, but like they do LeBron James or Tiger Woods or anything. But I think 10 years from now, I think we might, especially since we're growing up in a culture where
Technology based.
Yeah. Super technology based.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and speaking of that technology based culture, I mean, sometimes it's nice to then just get out of that, and that's where I find the outdoors to be super, super relaxing. Chase, I know you aren't as outdoorsy of a person, but Trey and I, we spend a lot of time outdoors between our two cabins, between backpacking. We went on a big backpacking trip over the summer to a group of lakes called the Enchantments, and they're super picturesque, like an iconic Washington hike. And they're actually so viewed as so special. You have to get a permit to stay overnight to limit the number of people up there and limit the public impact. So we drew a permit and we got to go up there. And there's just something special. I mean, it's like 85 degrees, walking through a valley with the river next to you, you know, fly fishing a little bit, you know, watching small little pointless trout, you know, just come up to the surface. It's beautiful. And something about that just awe-inspiring, breathtaking view, like it puts me in my place, I feel like. So you can take all the stress, you can take all the stuff going on in your life, and you see that, and it's blown away, and you're just like, wow. And so that's something I really appreciate, you know, maybe getting out of your norm, you know, not sleeping in your same bed, but going into the mountains and pitching a hammock. Like, it's legit. It connects you with a part of yourself that you know, something special comes out.
It also connects you with like a part of the world that you would have never really thought was there.
Yeah.
Because like there was, when I was up there, I was fishing. Garett was off fishing at what's that called? It's like right where the river meets the, what's that called? Your dad kept calling it something.
The outlet?
I forget. But you were out fishing there, and I was fishing at part of the lake, and I was fishing, throwing my bait in the water and all that, and then this, like, it was a butterfly came up, and he like legit landed on my finger, like while I was fishing.
Trey's basically Snow White. He
whistled
it in.
I was just fishing there. He landed on me, or she. I don't know how that works with butterflies.
Butterfly gender identification.
You
can't really.
You can definitely not assume a butterfly.
That's not.
That's one thing I'm adamant about. Don't assume butterfly genders because you have no idea.
That's true. So I didn't to its face at least, but it landed on me and I just kept fishing, having a good time. And I think that's like humbling in itself because like you can be at your house or you can be at work or school and like stuff like that is happening all around the world whether you're there or not. And that's like crazy to think about. Like there might not be a single person in the enchantments at that same time, but the trout and the wildlife and all that's still like up there, just doing its own thing, and that's just something crazy to think about.
Well, I'm gonna say really quick.
Yeah.
Do you remember the deer tray?
The deer in the middle of the yes.
On our way down out of the enchantments, we my dad was leading the way. As Trey, my dad, my brother, and I all went up, and we come around a bend in the trail. It's like 85 degrees, super sunny. You know, everything's super bright and vivid. And we come around. There's just a buck deer just sitting 15 feet from us in the trail. You know, munching on the bushes, and he was, you know, just a little guy still in velvet, meaning that his antlers were still growing. For those of you that aren't as outdoorsy or don't know as much,
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant.
Deer shed their antlers every year. So every January, February, winter season, they'll go knock them off. And only male deer grow antlers. So they knock them off, and then start that rebuilding process through velvet. So they look really fuzzy. They look, just fuzzy. And that goes on until about August, when they finally stop growing and they rub that velvet off. It's a super bloody process, actually.
God.
Because antlers, you know, they're alive up until then when they solidify his bone. So he was still in that velvet process, you know. He just had these little fuzzy knobs on top of his head. And he just sat and looked at us. And there's something cool about that. And I don't know if it's a non-fear of humans, because, you know, every day a permit holder hikes up to that lake, you know, so maybe he just sees humans a lot. Or maybe it's because since it's only, you know, a couple permit holders that hike up every once in a while, it's the opposite. It's a lack of fear of humans. But either way, just that connection, you know, we were able to watch him for 5 to 10 minutes, just doing his thing. And I'm an avid hunter, you know. I archery hunt for deer, which I can talk about in a bit because I find that really relaxing. But it's just, you know, I have that connection with animals relatively often, being able to be close and look at them. But some people don't have that, so I know, like, it was a cool experience for Trey, and it's just all of us, you know, just to see him eating branches and enjoying himself out in the summer. It was good.
Yeah, and like you guys said, I'm not much of an outdoorsy person, so I can actually count the amount of camping / hiking trips that I've ever made on my right hand, and it's like 3 of them. And one was this thing called OPI. It was Olympic Park Institute. It's now called Nature Bridge, and it was a trip that we took in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade for 3 days to the.
You take it every year.
Yeah,
all those years. That's super cool, actually.
Olympic National Park for 3 days, and we'd go up there, and we learn all about Native Americans and rocks and canoes and stuff. And it was on Lake Crescent.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like on the lake.
That's a wild place.
Yeah,
that's
it is.
so deep.
It is, and let me see. So there's that one, and then I went to a campground called Dosey Wallops, and I used a tent trailer, so it's not real camping.
No.
And then the last one was a hiking trip I took with Trey and our other friend Ben to Chico Falls, even though it's not called Chico Falls officially. We just call it Chico Falls.
Did you go to the main Chico Falls, or did you go to the one like 6 miles back?
We went to the main one. And what was amazing about kind of that one in particular is that I kind of think of this area as, so like
Suburban
my house,
almost.
yeah, suburban,
non-exotic.
Yes, like
Very.
my house, Silverdale, Bremerton, and then Seebeck. And I don't even know what goes on in Seebeck. It's just a big forest, and I can generally locate my friends' houses there.
Gardeners?
No, I don't really know a gardener. To be honest with you, I've never been to
you
Gardener's
find
house.
Ben's?
Yeah, I could find Ben's house. I could find Tyler's house. Yeah.
Gardeners is the best. Definitely, just because of the view.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll talk about that. I'm always
Bowman's
relaxed when I
house.
get to.
The Bowman's house is my favorite house out in Seebeck.
I'll talk. I want to
But,
talk about the sauna there.
But but it's amazing to think that Chico Falls is this pretty good sized waterfall.
Yeah, it's
And it's
20,
like
30
20
feet.
minutes away. And
Yeah.
I totally did not realize that. So I think Trey, you guys kind of got me onto the whole hiking thing. Now in this summer, we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
try
we're
and go a lot
we're
more.
stepping it up. We're stepping the game up with you, Chase. We're
Oh,
going
yeah.
backpacking.
Backpacking through Europe.
Maybe not that.
Yeah.
My
Backpacking through the Middle East. So we
Jesus.
can get captured.
yeah.
That'd be wild.
My dad backpacks a ton. I mean, every most of the weekends in the summer. Maybe not most. He gets up 8 to 10 times, I'm sure, up to random lakes in the mountains. And that's, it's just a super cool thing to do. It's views that you don't get normally just in everyday life. And so that's super cool. As far as Gardner's house, it's right on the water, looking up out at the mountains. It's the best spot to spend the summer because it's always like 75 degrees. You can go swimming. You can go on the boat. You can do whatever you feel like. One of my best friends, Jake Bowman, his family has a very, very nice house.
Yeah.
And there's a sauna in the house. Like, I love the sauna. I find that very, very relaxing.
They have a massage room in that house too, don't they? Like off of the
Yeah, they have a spa that they pay people to come in and give massages
God,
to
I want.
them.
And Jake's room has a balcony that looks out over like the mountains and
Yeah.
the Hood Canal.
Yeah.
God, it's like, why? Why can't I have that? Please. I live
Probably
out here
'cause-
and I have a good view of the back of the gym of Fairview Junior High. There's my view.
Chase, you could come appreciate these views if you came to my house or Gardner's house more.
That's true.
But yeah, this summer we'll spend a lot of time at Gardner's house.
I will. I'll
'Cause
barge
it's,
in there.
It's the best spot. Well, do that. I mean, Nick shows up all the time. Nick's literally like Gardner's neighbor. He lives 2 houses away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gardner will wake up from his room at like 2 in the afternoon because that's how he sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
He'll walk downstairs and Nick's just sitting there playing video games. That's how they've been all their life. They're so close.
Wow.
Nick bought a HTC Vive VR set, not for himself but for Gardner's house. Like,
I saw your Snapchat video. He was going off with it.
he's insane. That didn't look relaxing. He was literally he's doing VR, like he's
killing
playing
himself.
he's playing video games, and as soon as he dies, he takes it off and he's just laying on the ground panting. And I walk up to like check on him. I didn't know, maybe his brain fried, and he's dripping with sweat, like dripping. And I'm like, yo, like that's intense.
God, I want an HTC Vive. Those things look cool.
Where would you put it?
I don't know.
Not in here.
I'll find a place. If I got
Dude,
anything
okay,
going
at our
on
new garage that we're building out at the cabin, there's
Yeah,
gonna be a fat media room, like
Really?
bigger than the garage here.
Really?
There'll be a fat media room. In
What-
there.
what are you gonna use
You're
the
building
media
a whole
room
new
for?
house out there, aren't
I
you?
don't know. That practically is a house.
Yeah, it's the garage with just the house on top of that.
It
right?
pretty much is a house. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a small house with an enlarged garage.
So you can, because there's a lot of overflow, because a lot of times with your cabin, you get, because when you invite over people to the cabin, typically it's not just Ben and I, it's like your whole family and Ben and I. So you get a lot
or
of
they're just
overflow.
there without. I mean, I think that's one of the best things about the cabin is like it's so like inviting and like people kind of just show up and that's really nice because like it's such like especially if you've been going there for years, like it's so nostalgic and like I think what a lot of people don't take into account is like auditory like senses because like you can go out there and there's like wind chimes and stuff.
Yeah,
and, like those
there's
wind chimes, like if
chickens
I
that
was to
live next
hear them,
door.
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like even the chickens next door, like all of that is just so like nostalgic and like it just brings back good memories, you know.
But yeah, I think the first time I went over to that cabin, it was like 20 of your family members, and then Elijah's girlfriend Sam. It's Sam's her name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just a bunch of other people I didn't know, and then it was a funny story. I had recently quit wrestling. I
was that
quit
with
wrestling
Schmidt?
that
Sure.
year. Yeah, I quit wrestling that year because it was bad. It's the
Not
only
relaxing.
sport. It's the
It's
only
not
sport that I've
relaxing.
ever actually like quit because it was impeding on grades and yeah, it was getting pretty bad. So I quit about 80% of the way through the season just before state. And the coach scared the shit out of me. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, the coach he doesn't look like a very scary guy until he does. And so I don't know, quitting was not a very easy process with him. And so when I was there that summer, so it was months after, probably 6 or 7 months afterwards, we were just sitting in the cabin. It was like 1 a.m. We're all playing Monopoly, and then all of a sudden he just walks into the room, and he wasn't there before. It scared the crap out of me. I was like, whoa. Was he gonna suplex me? Oh,
Who?
and then the Schmidt, the
Schmidt?
wrestling. This is like, yeah, it was like 6 or 7 months after I quit wrestling. I hadn't even talked to him, and then he just walked into the cabin at like 1 a.m. Like,
Really?
And I totally just didn't know. And we were all playing Monopoly, and I was like, oh, hey, Schmidt.
Was he over there before? He just showed up at the cabin.
He just showed up.
Well, he's
mean,
like family friend, so I think my
Yeah,
parents
he's like
invited him.
I noticed he's over there a little bit more. Like every time I was over there that last summer, he was there. But so I got a
That
little
was
bit more
fun. That was
relaxed.
good time.
Judging your life decisions.
Yeah, basically he's like he's eating those potato chips over there. Probably gonna put on
Oh,
0.4
no.
pounds. He's not gonna make weight.
I feel like Schmidt doesn't look like he's making weight.
That's the thing. That's the thing that scares me about Schmidt. I think it might be a metabolism issue with wrestlers early on that they just develop because their eating habits are really, really
Yeah.
sketch. But Schmidt is an incredibly athletic person. I think he could beat the crap out of almost anybody on the team. And he like runs marathons and stuff, but he still has a belly. And I think that might just be attributed to different metabolism issues because all of our coaches are like that.
No, that's what happens when you freaking when you wrestle like that and you get those metabolism issues. It's a legit problem.
Mm-hmm.
But you say he runs marathons?
Yeah, he like runs like 5Ks and marathons and does all that, but he still has a bit of a belly on him, and it's like,
I think he also had surgery though, which kind of put him out.
oh, that's true.
So.
Oh, yeah.
But like, and then Coach, who's the Asian coach? Coach Tyner? Yeah,
He's a
Tyner's-
firefighter.
Yeah, and his arms are massive.
He's oddly in shape.
Teach you what is it where you drag the head into like right here?
It's just
A headlock.
collar tie.
Yeah, it just collar tie.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be like, "This is how you collar tie properly," and
was like, "Oh!"
he'd like drag you in, and then you basically break your nose on his bicep, and then he'd start flexing, and you'd feel like you're suffocating.
feel good.
And he's like, "Yeah, this is how it's supposed to feel," and then you do it to him, and he's like, "I'm not feeling it," and then you try it on him,
He's like, "Ah."
and he's like huge up top, but he's still got a bit of a belly,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, and then there's I think the only one that was like in actual good aesthetic shape, I think it might have been the coach Burchett.
Oh yeah.
He looks like an in shape
He's a
older
sturdy
guy.
guy.
Yeah. Because my God,
He's
he
also a
beats crap out of
police
me, too.
officer though.
Oh, that's
But
true.
then again, he can't really make that argument considering Tyner is a firefighter.
Yeah.
But
Firefighters are just massive. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, that's a real problem. Well, speaking of him being a bigger guy and still running marathons, I mean, I heard a story. Just came across this, supposed to be like an inspirational video on YouTube, about the 40% rule, where your brain only thinks you can, do 40% of what you actually can. And we're not going to get into this now because this is about relaxation, not killing yourself through exercise. So maybe some other episode. But the guy was talking, there's this big, he met this Navy SEAL, and he was a big, like, 260-pound man. And he ran an ultra marathon, so 100 miles.
Jesus
And the
Christ.
guy who met him, the guy telling his story, he was running it as part of his 6-man team. And this Navy SEAL ran it by himself with only a lawn chair and, like, a small bag of potato chips or something like that.
Jesus.
And by the time he finished the race, he had broken every small bone in both his feet, and was
What
just
the hell?
kept going on, just kept racing, just because he wanted to finish.
He's like, I had to do this as part of my training. This is child's play.
Yeah, exactly. And I was talking about Cameron Hines earlier, and that's one of the things he does. He's just huge, ripped man. He runs 100-mile races, and he finishes, he finishes them in less than 24 hours, which is, that's the goal. Like, that's what most people aim for. But he ran one. He was telling the story. His last 2 miles were both 5-minute miles.
Jesus Christ.
After 98 other ones, like it's next level. And he's a big bow hunter too. That's how I heard of him, how I know him. And that's something I find super relaxing, just because being out in the woods. I must not be very good because I don't ever actually manage to kill anything, except for I've killed one deer and a bear in a lot of
Kill a
years.
bear?
Yeah, I killed a bear with a bow.
Christ.
With a bow.
That's more than I have.
That being said, like, I've been bow hunting for like 7 years, so and I hunt for deer and elk are my main ones, but it's just relaxing because you're out there, and you're trying to be one with nature. It's not like backpacking where you kind of become one with nature through like, the relaxation, the kind of like meditating. But in this, you're attempting to be, you wear camo, you
You're trying to
disguise how
integrate
you
yourself.
smell.
Yeah.
And because you're also, instead of just having the task of getting to a spot, you're having the task of being as aware as you can and finding, animals. I mean, bow hunting, like, you have to get really, really close to an animal to kill it with a bow. So you have to be, it's not like a gun where you can shoot it from 400 yards just after driving around in your truck and seeing it, it's that awareness. So all your senses are just hyperactive. Your hearing, your eyesight, your senses, smell, everything is just on full alert. And I find that so cool because you can have those senses just kind of in your subconscious on full alert, but as you look around, you aren't like, okay, stick, deer, you're still able to think. So I spend a ton of time when I'm hunting. If I find a spot I just want to sit down, I'll just sit there and I'll listen and I'll be aware, but then I'll just kind of meditate on any thoughts I have, just think and kind of let my mind wander. And that I find it's amazing.
Relaxing.
It's super relaxing. And a good time to spend my time, to think. I've had a lot of really, really deep thoughts like that. I mean, we were originally going to call this episode Cabin Time. We haven't talked much about cabins. I mean, you told the story about Schmidt showing up. I haven't talked much about mine. But it's the spot, like, all through my childhood that we'd go out to, most weekends in the summer, most weekends in the fall when we're fishing. And we'd be out there late November. It's like, I have a memory. It was like 32 degrees outside, and this was several years ago. The insulation in the cabin's kind of gone downhill since then, but we got the cabin. It's just an old classic wood stove. We just kept shoving wood into it, and it was up pushing 100 degrees easy, freezing cold outside. And so it's one of those old classic, split doors where you can just open the top, but it's like an old wooden one. And we open the top, and you just see heat waves just rolling out. And it was insane. And my brother, he'd always sleep he'd sleep on the couch, just right next to the fire, in just this massive, super heavy black sleeping bag. And I'm just like, Landon, like, what is this kid doing? Like, he would lose like pounds every night.
Just from sweat.
Yeah. Well, my dad's friend Scotty, because my dad grew up in the cabin too, they used to have this old black leather couch there, and they were all chilling on the fire. I don't know what they were doing. Whatever they did when they were teens, and Scotty fell asleep on the black leather couch, and it was really, really hot in there, and they had to peel him off because he was stuck to it. So, yeah. If there's any moral to this episode, don't fall asleep next to a fire on a 100-degree room on a black leather couch.
Because that's not relaxing.
That is not relaxing. Well, I mean, speaking of relaxing, like, Trey and I stayed up till like 3 a.m. last night. Not gonna lie, Chase was out at like 12:30.
Oh yeah.
He had just been playing chess on his phone all night, and finally decided he had had enough. And we're in his garage right now, just hanging out in the garage. He fell asleep just on the cement floor. Like, we got him a pillow, but his head was like either propped in an awkward position against the chair that he was laying below, or just on the cement.
Yeah, that's actually. I'll come down here to actually just sleep on the cement floor sometimes. That, or I'll sleep on the floor upstairs. I
enjoy sleeping on floors.
Yeah, same thing when I go to hotels. That we don't need to get a rollaway bed or anything because I can just sleep on the floor. I actually really enjoy it. I don't know why. It's just a weird part. But yeah, that was actually a really comfortable sleep down there last night. Cement floor. I didn't even notice you guys got me a pillow. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. You don't remember that?
No, I just kind of.
You need a pillow, and you're like.
I woke up.
And I was like, here you go.
I just woke up with a pillow, and I was like. Oh.
Actually, you woke up with two because I woke up before you, so I was sitting throwing one at you, trying to get you to wake up. But I was also trying to pretend that I was asleep because I didn't want you to be mad for waking you up. So I'd pretend like I rolled over and accidentally nudged you really hard, or I'd throw a pillow at you and then still pretend to be asleep because I didn't want you mad at me.
Wait, so did Aiden leave last night?
Yeah. Aiden left at 1 a.m.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been like a half hour after I fell asleep.
Yeah.
I woke up. I thought he was because I knew Trey was up here, and Garrett, you were right down there. Yeah. And I thought Aiden might have been right here, and I just couldn't see him. But no.
He had to watch it.
Did you not hear Aiden last night?
Mm-mm.
Freaking out.
Well, I mean, I heard him when I was awake.
Freaking out.
Like, ah, shit, ah, god damn it. And then he'd stand up and start yelling. Oh, man.
Yelling. Yeah.
It's like, how? I got right behind that guy and he shot me. I was like, oh, what?
Sounds like Aiden.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah. Aiden should stick to his car games.
By the way, just for the record, Aiden, if you're watching, that
we love
voice,
you.
Yeah, that was a joke. That wasn't your actual voice.
That
was Chase's
we
impression.
said that.
That was
It wasn't
my-
even really mocking you. We said that in the most loving way we could have.
Absolutely. So yeah, I didn't know all that happened. What the heck?
I feel like if
I was
Olivia,
tired.
if his girlfriend's watching, she'll probably be laughing at that. I feel like she'll appreciate it.
True,
Hopefully.
her and her easy bake oven shoes. Yeah.
So, we had some odd conversations last night about bacon,
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
there's so
God.
many would you rather questions.
about the meatloaf. Let's
Trey,
not bring that
yeah,
up.
you know what?
That's
How is that realistic?
just
I think it's
just
the
no.
most realistic.
It's no.
For another time,
No,
maybe.
yeah.
He's
No,
not
this
gonna
is-
put it in the podcast.
This
at
is
all.
not for another podcast.
That's for sure.
Um,
Gaming YouTube.
That's yeah. Triggered Gaming's kind of dank. So if you haven't subscribed after the last episode, the link's still there, but you might not be the type of person that wants to if you haven't yet.
It's pretty dank.
And by that I mean please go subscribe.
Yes. It's a great channel, I think.
So I'd
Yeah.
agree.
Good streaming.
Yeah,
It
good
is-
streaming.
It is good streaming. That's all pretty down to earth.
Good group of guys.
With Jay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I liked Jay. He seemed chill.
Honestly, yeah,
Jay's
met
a
him for
good
the
guy.
met him for the first time last night. It was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Met him as in online. None of us
Yeah.
have ever actually met this person.
Aiden will.
Oh, Aiden's
Aiden
going to
will?
college with
Oh, that's
him.
right.
You go to OSU.
Oh, we discussed how
He's gonna meet Aiden in person. He's gonna be like, oh shit.
yeah, exactly. That's what we said. We discussed the like of the squad, of the group of us, like you wouldn't want like he's the least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, this was relaxing.
Yeah. Hopefully you relax with this podcast somewhat.
Hopefully this episode was relaxing.
I do hope we relaxed. I hoped we entertained too. This one wasn't as serious or as informative as the last one. I know the last one's only like 20 or so minutes, and it's supposed to be just our intro, but it got a little bit political. This one was supposed to just be kind of us chatting, having a good time. If you find this interesting, that's good. Feel free to give us some good ratings and let us know.
Mm-hmm.
If you
And-
don't find it interesting, also let us know, because we're trying to figure out where we're going with this, what direction, whether or not we want it to be a lot more informative, a lot more entertaining, somewhere in between.
Mm-hmm.
Just stylistically, what we're gonna be doing. For future podcasts, we may not be able to get all of us, in a room
Yeah.
for one of them. We're gonna try and have, all three of us. We're gonna bring Aiden on the podcast. Sometimes I feel like
Yeah, we'll bring
Ben doesn't
Ben.
care.
Ben
but
will be on a podcast.
Ben will be on a podcast. I feel like Gardner won't want to, but he can if he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe we'll just have featured episodes with any other random person we for some reason find it
Ooh,
interesting.
maybe one day we can have Jay. That'd
Oh
be
maybe
wild.
one day.
no, that would be epic.
That'd be wild.
Yeah. And then this is Garett. This is going up on your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
This isn't going up on Trigger Gaming.
Triggered Gaming, actually, you might post some of these up.
Mm-hmm.
Trey had talked about posting these up to Triggered Gaming. I'm obviously going to be posting it up to the Rugged Hour YouTube after I get this all edited and stuff. Also to iTunes, it should be.
Mhm.
And I need to go pay a podcast host because I need to find a spot to host this.
Yeah. And so if you have any ideas for, topics and things like that, you can either comment on the video itself. Hopefully when we post these, we can get contact information like Instagram, Snapchat, things like that.
Yeah.
In the description so that you can contact us directly.
Mm-hmm.
And the website eventually.
The website eventually
The
is going
website
to go
eventually.
up. Yeah. So
that might be a bit, but
I mean, yeah. So if you have any ideas, just kind of float them to us.
and that's the nice thing. Like, I think we're gonna be able to put multiple ideas into one video.
Yeah.
We've talked for a while now. Just in this one podcast, it's supposed to be about relaxation, and we've gone into Major
CrossFit,
League,
video games.
Major League Gaming and CrossFit. So that's kind of where this goes. Ideas can just bounce off of each other. And so hopefully that happens to you guys too. If you listen to one of our podcasts and that really sparks some sort of interest, feel free to comment.
I think
and
eventually
hear our
it would also be
opinions.
cool to do some streaming so people can actually be asking questions live.
Yeah,
That would be really
a streaming would be super cool. That would be through our YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's how we. I'm not
Yeah,
really
I'm
up
into
to
this too.
video stuff. Trey's really into this. Yeah.
Yeah, so we could just stream some time and then do like some Q&As, ask us questions, and hopefully build up like a small community of listeners and stuff like that. So
Yeah, so it just depends what you want. It could be entertaining, could be informative. We could just talk about what it's like to be, young men, seniors going through. We're in a really big transition phase in our lives now.
Yeah.
I'm changing gender. Just kidding.
oh,
Garett.
We're going from high school
thought
to
that was my
college, and
job.
it's like that's a really big deal. Going out on your own,
Yeah.
flapping your little wings, being independent.
going to Wazoo.
No,
Chase isn't going to Wazoo.
No,
He's
I
going,
don't
He's going to
know.
Wazoo.
That's
he's
my
going to
last
UC
resort.
Berkeley probably.
I applied. I don't know if I'm getting in. That's the dream. UC Berkeley, if you see this, that's the dream.
UC Berkeley probably doesn't want to see
That's
this.
true. I was gonna say
UC
they're never gonna
Berkeley
see
shouldn't
this.
want you.
So
I don't want you at UC Berkeley.
I want you at Wazoo. So is this a good place to end the podcast?
Yeah, this sounds like a good spot to end the podcast. We've kind of come full circle, wrapped it up. Hopefully you guys are going to be really, really enjoying this. So, if you listen to this whole thing, I'm impressed. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and spending it with us. If you didn't listen to the whole thing, then you're not listening to me right now. But, yeah, we're going to have more episodes coming out soon, probably next week. Or even sooner, depending on when we get this one posted up. We're trying to make it a weekly podcast. Posting up maybe every Sunday night. So that's what it's looking like right now. Are there any big events coming up that we might be doing special podcasts for? Any fashion drops or anything? Chase? You probably don't know.
I don't know. Gap doesn't do fashion drops.
Yeah,
so.
Chase drops at the Gap. He's a stylish guy.
Gap and J Crew.
But stylish guy, but not like a hype guy, which I appreciate that. He's very GQ.
I can appreciate GQ.
I really appreciate GQ. They're my culture in the style world. I don't get out much, so
Yeah, they're very diverse.
I get to experience a lot of that. I appreciate nice clothes. The street. How do you feel about like street fashion?
Well, do we want to do another one? I think we could end the podcast anywhere in the last 5 minutes.
I say we
But-
should end the podcast right now.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that's a fashion podcast right there.
That is a fashion podcast. All right, really quick, Trey. Don't end it yet. Thank you guys for tuning in. We just lost our webcam. It fell. Trey knocked it down.
Trey, don't end it yet. Oh.
Hopefully you guys, they can still hear us, right? Mike's still going. All right.
Still going.
Thank you guys for tuning in. It means a lot. Thanks for your support. And, yeah, tune in again.
yeah.
Bye-bye.